Well, today we are going to be talking about Asmita and yoga. Um, some of the deeper philosophies within yoga that often we don't really talk about in classes or very shortly. And we don't bring a lot of attention to these concepts because we're primarily doing asana in a yoga class, and that's what a lot of people come for. But part of yoga is also understanding our own mindscape. And then, so oftentimes when we're struggling or triggered or something makes us really upset or frustrated, which is totally fine to feel. Yoga doesn't want you to not feel them. But what yoga is asking you to do is to look within and how and why we're feeling this way. And most often, if not all times, there is some level of attachment to the ego that causes the suffering, which is asmita. So we get frustrated by something. How is this challenging your ego? That's something to ask yourself. What identity of myself am I clinging on to? And for an example, so in my life, I have a strong identity as being a yogi. I have for years. It's become my identity after 15 years of dedicated practice, study, and even lifestyle. So, as yoga is expanding and touching so many different industries, it's sort of changing. And the names are changing. Sometimes we're not even calling it yoga anymore. We're calling it different names. And for me, it's always been yoga. And some of this wellness verbiage only lived in a yoga studio. And it was almost taboo to even talk about lifestyle as medicine just 10 years ago. So I have this identity around it that now it's starting to challenge. So I'm being challenged as more people speak up in the therapist's office, in doctor's offices, in fitness studios, in all types of spaces. It makes me think, oh, it challenges me because it's like mine, or it's me. But what that also did is, and I'm thankful that I have a lot of yogis surrounded by me that can help me kind of and I know this because this is my practice. I feel this and I know, why am I feel this way? I keep asking myself, why am I feeling this way? And then I start to, I notice the connection to my ego. And I think this is involved with my ego. Yes, it is. It's the identity I have to yoga. It's challenging the identity I have to yoga because it's changing. So, and this happens, nothing's wrong with that. It's just after we start to have that awareness that yoga asks of us, we can transcend these feelings. We can soften. Where can I lessen the grip on my identity? Where can I start to let that fall apart a little or soften a little, where other things can come in? It's a really unfolding, and it's constant throughout life. It's a process that we go through, and then yoga's not asking you to kind of get rid of your emotions, but we're kind of asking you to do is to look within and transcend so you can have a deeper understanding and you can kind of unfold your layers. We can move towards oneness. So that's yoga, moving. We want to, because our identity separates us from everybody, makes us unique. But yoga is asking us to come together. So when something challenges our identity, things are falling away, and it brings us closer actually to somebody else. And it's ironic how challenging that can be. It's just weird, right? It is. But I think the more that you do it, the more you're able to be okay with things going forward. But having yoga as part of the practice outside of just asana is such a tool that we can use. And this is just one example of when you are struggling, suffering, something really frustrates you, like you're feeling very angry, turn within and start to ask yourself the questions of where where in this is it touching? Where in my ego is this touching? And how can I lessen the grip on my identity to it? It's not easy work. And it takes maybe a particular type of person to do it. I don't know. But our hope is to kind of encourage each other to do that and to support each other through this. And I am lucky enough to have that support. I already said that. And it's not a judgment where, you know, it's a soft, it's a gentle relationship that you might have with people where you can explore those things within the negative shadow things that we don't like to share, that we can kind of work through and admit and transcend. So that's part of yoga too. And it's something that we don't talk about enough in yoga. We don't practice enough as yoga teachers, especially in the West, and yoga studio owners. So I hope that this inspires you to turn within when we are experiencing those types of feelings.